Another quick one for you, as quick as I can make, cover the plea this time. You'll note when you go into court very often, if you don't know what you're doing and you're just thrust into court, the judge is very quick to enter a plea for you of not guilty. Or if you respond to a traffic ticket and you don't respond to it right, you don't fill out guilty or not guilty on the ticket, they will send you a letter back stating this court has accepted your not guilty plea. If you don't respond to it properly, it is presumed and assumed you are in agreement with it. That should give you some idea of how important the plea is. They need you to enter a plea desperately. They need you to appear. They need you to enter that plea. Okay, understand, if you're pleading not guilty, you're creating an argument immediately. Remember, they need an argument. They need a controversy. That's what courts are for, to settle controversies. If you're being accused of committing some kind of a crime, they need you to plead not guilty, saying, no, I didn't do that, because then they get to decide your fate, don't they? Now, didn't you choose to enter that not guilty plea? Of course you did. You chose to state not guilty, to give them a controversy, to give them an argument, and they're off and running. Do you see how it works? It's kind of tricky to explain, but hopefully you guys are starting to get this. They want a controversy and an argument. That's all they want. Then they just need you to appear and plea on top of it, and they're golden. They're completely protected. They have all sorts of immunities that kick in, and they're off and running. Note on the traffic ticket, I'm using New York State as an example because that's where I am. They mention at the bottom, failing to respond, or they might say failing to answer, can result in suspensions, warrants, waterboarding, whatever. This is why we make sure when we respond to anything in writing, we make sure that they understand they do not have our power of attorney, our permission, or our consent to enter a plea on our behalf. I word it in such a way that it's abundantly clear. If they do enter a plea for me, this is what they do. It's called steamrolling. They try to enter that plea and get it back to you in the mail so that you'll accept it. I let them know they don't have any of those three components, that they need to enter a plea on my behalf, and if they do so, it is fraud. You have to learn how to word it properly, and that's what I will teach you guys. I'll teach you guys how I do it, then you guys can decide how you want to handle it on your own. We make sure we do not plea, but we make sure it includes in that letter that this letter constitutes a response or an answer. However they're wording it on the bottom of the ticket, we make it clear that we are responding, we are answering. Therefore, nothing can be construed otherwise. The way it would work if you choose not to respond is that they will, of course, issue warrants or summons or whatever because you didn't respond or answer to the ticket. Now, as a general rule of thumb, you want to get all answers, responses in the mail, certified return receipt mail within 3 days. In New York State, we have a 10-day time period, but I like to do everything as if it's a contract with a 72-hour rule and stick to that. Okay, so hopefully that was a little helpful. I'll go into more detail another time. You got to keep in mind, since they're using our tax money to coerce and threaten us into court, right? Remember I went over about how they're using our tax money and they're making, think about the money that judges make. Have you ever seen what their salaries are? They don't make anything. They make crap. They make very, very little. I mean, I'd be happy with their salary. I don't make much money myself. But they make very, very little money. So why on earth would they put so much time and effort into trying to get traffic convictions and fines and fine money? Think about this. They're using our tax money. Once again, I can't repeat that enough. They're using your own money against you. Isn't this just the most blatant corruption you can imagine? I can't think of anything more corrupt than this. We need to do the law as it's written. That's what I'm trying to teach. and force them to do the same. The more we clog up their courts doing the law properly, the more tax money will be allotted to fighting us back to get us to pay them money. And then maybe more people will begin to wake up to this crap and we can create more change. I'm not advocating clogging up the courts per se. What I'm advocating is that we follow the law and force them to, by not waiving any rights ever. I mentioned in my last video that I wanted to start to offer storable food products. I'm looking right now at storable food bars. They have a 5-year shelf life. They're not really designed to be a nutritional component. They're designed to supply you with the calories that you need on a daily basis to survive if we find ourselves in trouble. And you all know what I'm talking about. Everyone watching this who listens to any form of politics knows that we're in a heck of a lot of trouble if things don't change real quick. So we need to have food reserves. I'm looking at these food bars that have enormous numbers of calories and are very filling. And get yourself some good whole food supplementation on your own so that you've got good nutrition. But the storable food bars will give you a 5-year shelf life. It's food that comes from America and will give you all the caloric content that you need on a daily basis to make sure you can survive. You don't need to cook it or anything, and they taste pretty good. So the calories are somewhere in the neighborhood of 2,500 per day. I'm hoping you guys will be interested in this. It's edible insurance, and it will help me be able to keep putting time into this project and teach you guys everything I possibly can. I'll have another video coming up very soon. Thanks for watching. Please spread the word. Please feel free to spread out my information as far and wide as possible. Thanks a lot.